Hey guys, it's Ashley here with Marshflower Studio. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this little F-bomb. If you enjoy the video, remember to like and subscribe, and feel free to make requests for future videos. So to get started, I typically make these with just a worsted weight black yarn. I have a gray yarn that has a silver metallic string kind of woven through it that I use for the top. You don't have to have that one. You can choose something else for the little top part. And then I always just choose a couple different reds or oranges or yellows to kind of create this little spark here at the end of the bomb. So it's a really easy project, pretty simple. We're going to start with 6 in our magic circle, 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll have our 6 increases. So we'll be going all the way out to 12 in this row. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Okay, next row, single crochet and an increase. So we'll be going all the way to 18 with this row. So 1 and 2, then 3, 4 and 5, and then 6, 7 and 8, and then 9, 10 and 11, and 12, 13, 14, and then 15. Then we have 16 and 17 and 18. Our next row is going to be increasing out to 24. So we'll have 2 single crochets and an increase. I'm going to do my increase first. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22, 23, 24. So this is where I stop increasing because this gives a nice size for that keychain kind of deal. If you want to do bigger ones, then you just have to keep or continue increasing and then add a few extra rows to kind of go up the sides of this ball before you start your decreases. Not super hard to figure out if you want to do some that are bigger. Whoop. Okay, so we're going to do for this size 3 rows of single crochet. So we're going to have 3 rows of 24. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that was the first row. 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. All right, so now we're doing our third row of 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, so this is where we will start decreasing to close in the top of our little bomb here. So in our next row, we're going to have 2 single crochets and a decrease, and I'll do that all the way around to get down to 18. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and then my decrease is 3, and then 4, 5, decrease is 6, 7, 8, decrease is 9, 10, 11, decrease is 12, 13, 14, oops, decrease is 15, 16, 17, and our decrease is 18. Okay, for our next row, we're going to be decreasing down to 12. So we'll have a single crochet and a decrease. So we'll do 1, and then decrease 2, 3, decrease on 4, 5, decrease on 6, 7, decrease on 8, 9, decrease on 10, 11, and then our decrease for 12. Okay, so now we have our nice little ball. We're going to put some stuffing inside. How much stuffing is, as always, completely up to you. I would say that I like to make these stuffed kind of medium, so not super soft, but not really hard either. And then we'll do our 6 decreases. And I want to leave this tail out from the beginning because I'm going to use part of this tail to tie off for my end. So 6 decreases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so instead of fastening off and kind of weaving this shut, I'm going to stick my hook under the next stitch, and I'm going to bring in my silver and gray yarn and pull up a loop. And I'm going to slip stitch it through that black loop that I had on my hook. And at this point, I'm going to cut this thread that I was just working with. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I like to do a little square knot to hold things in place. And then I'm going to do 1 row of single crochets all the way around this top portion here, just to give that little cap on the top here. And this is, you know, optional. If you don't want to have a different color on this little section, you could just weave in your black ends and run your fuse just straight out of the black part. Okay, so at this point, I've done my little cap. I'm gonna pull this through. Then I'm also gonna come back. You can use a yarn needle for this or a smaller hook. I'm gonna grab that yarn that I just cut off and pull it back towards the middle. So to make sure everything is nice and tight here and it's not gonna come apart, I'll tie everything kind of together into a square knot. Get both of the black strings and both of those gray silver strings. Pull them nice and tight. And then you can take your strings that you're not going to be using for your fuse, and just tuck them back through the middle and then trim them off. From time to time, I will switch and I will actually take a piece of white yarn to create my fuse with. So that's completely an option if you would like to have a white fuse instead of a silver or black fuse. And then I would kind of sew and tie that white fuse underneath this knot that I've created with those ends from the black and silver. So you can tie it right underneath there, and then as you pull this down through to fasten off those, it'll kind of pull your fuse back into the middle of the bomb. So let me just show you what that would kind of look like here since I've got it ready. And if you wanted to make your fuse a little more sturdy, you can also do a chain instead of just the yarn. But I always will attach my keychain hooks to the black part just below where I have my silver cap, because it provides a little bit more durability for those keychains to go into this lower part versus just being on these outer loops. So I've got my white tied in here. I've got my nice long yarn needle with a big eye, so I can fit all of these strings through here at once. I'm going to pull that down through the bottom. Oops. I actually went straight through the middle of the bottom. I usually like to kind of go out the side, because those side loops have a little more wiggle room when it comes to pulling things through like this. I'll make sure this is up where it needs to be, and then we'll trim off these ends, and then you can just wiggle it a little bit, smush it around, and those will kind of tuck themselves back up inside, out of sight. So then you can tie your spark for your fuse wherever you would like. If you want a long fuse, if you want a short fuse, completely up to you. And then for the F that goes on the front, I will simply take a section of, I use a nice bright red for this. Where's my smaller hook? My smaller needle. Okay. And I will actually double it over, kind of like with sewing thread. A nice little section here. And I will start at the bottom, maybe 2 or 3 rows from that center magic circle. Go up almost to the very top of my black little ball here, and pull that through. And then I do the top part of my F. I'm going to come down to where the end of that second little bar would be, and come out, and then I'll go back in kind of over here where this line for the side of the F would be. And from there, I'm going to go down to where I started. So I have both of the side kind of arms of the F, and then I'll go up to the top of that first line and back out through the bottom again. Sometimes figuring out how to kind of embroider some of these letters onto things and still have them turn out looking like the letter you intended can be a little tough. So that's how I make the F's that I put on my little F bombs here. So the same thing, I'll tie this in a nice little square knot and then tuck my ends back through and trim off the extra. This one will get its little flame on the end. I'll attach the keychain and then it'll be ready to go. So remember to hit subscribe and like for me. If you have comments, please drop them below. If you have any requests for anything you'd like me to make on here, just shoot me that as well and I'll get to it. Thanks.